These bees, but check them out. Let's just kick it. Let's just kick it. You know what I'm saying? Dug out those stumps. Let's just kick it. I'm gonna have an energy drink. Let's just kick it, man. Kick it. Oh, yeah. Damn notices don't get sent out on my chats. Trying to take away my thunder. Yeah, I'd just be kicking it. Hey, Honeybee. Will you be kicking it? You know what I'm saying? Guard your privacy and abide by community guidelines. Yeah, I'd just be kicking it. I will. Well, that smoking went okay. Not perfect, though. I put my water pans in a different spot, thinking it would keep that raging heat on that end from overcooking things, and it cost me too much heat on the other end near the exhaust. I don't know why. It's a poorly designed smoker. I get by with it. That's why I pulled the fish off first. I had an internal temperature of 155 on the pork, which was good enough, but I didn't like it. It wasn't browned enough on the outside. And I just didn't want to take any chances, so I smoked the pork a little longer. Not because it really needed more cooking. Actually, it's a little dry, but because it just doesn't look as good if it's not browned on the outside. Eye appeal has a lot to do with food. Drinking my energy drink. I need some energy. I'd just be kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Greens. The green grass. I got my old hound dog on the porch. That's Marty's dog now. Daisy doesn't even sleep with me anymore. Daisy, you love Marty. You love Marty, huh? She's waiting for a squirrel to come over here. Let's just kick it. Hey, Frisky. I just got done smoking some meat. Just be kicking it, you know what I'm saying? I've been getting rain. I love. That's one good thing down here. A lot of rain. Michigan, I got a little right before I left, but they didn't. They didn't have. It was dry. Everything was dried out. Yeah, life has been good lately. That's for sure. The house there, they keep postponing the pouring of the slab. Now it's next Tuesday. It's because of this rain. Evidently, rain like messes up the finish. Makes sense. I don't really care. You know, we quit cutting the grass here, but I just couldn't stand it. It looked like shit. So I caught up on everything Monday. It looks way better. Vultures are great. Actually, I bought them 3 pounds at tripe yesterday. They ate about 2 pounds. They're great. Babies look beautiful. They look just like you'd expect for young vultures. There's water that pools on the other side of that little home over there in the road, and they hang out there and drink. And when you come home, they'll like kind of jump and hop, but they're flying like hell. Actually, none of them are around today. So the babies are actually, they fledged right when the articles in the internet said they would, right around June 15th. And they're probably out flying around with their parents learning how to eat. I noticed we had some lightning, thunder yesterday. I saw them come back and go into the house. Those parents sometimes will help feed them for 2 years after they're out flying and learning the big world. But they're super cute. Yeah, they do hunt. They do know who I am. They recognize the vehicles too. I mean, I'm not going to go. They're not going to be perching on my shoulder, but it's no big deal to them. I've messed around with animals a lot like that. We had some. I used to be worried about imprinting, which I still would be worried about right at birth if they saw me, which is why I avoided them during that stage. Never got close. But animals, after they get a little older, I just, I don't push it. I would have liked to went in there a lot more, but it worked out perfect. We had some crazy cold weather when I first moved to Michigan. It's like 10 below for 2 weeks. Plus, we'd just gotten about a foot of snow, so there was nothing for the deer to eat, and I was feeding them. And I fed them for about 6 weeks, and at the end of the 6 weeks, I could get about 3 feet from them. And I was kind of worried about that. Here's a hummingbird. I was kind of worried about that. But I'd read some articles, and they said, no, they'll differentiate you in your vehicle from somebody else. And sure enough, they did. Anybody else came outside, they'd take off. And when a vehicle came in besides mine, they'd take off. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to turn them into my pet wild vultures. I want them to be scared of people. But I can get close to them, 10 feet in a tree, which they normally wouldn't let you get that close. I always talk too as I approach that house. I want them knowing I'm coming. Yeah, you've either got a black vultures or turkey vultures. The turkey vultures are the ones with the red faces. They're actually a way bad. They find their food by smell. They're experts at it. Actually, black vultures in a lot of places where the food is iffy, they will follow the red-faced vultures, the turkey vultures, to look for food. Black vultures see way better, but they don't smell anywhere near as good. They're a hell of a beautiful animal, man. It's a shit ton of work, man. They're mating, laying these eggs. Just great parents, And they keep all this dead stuff cleaned up. I mean, they're great for the environment. I think they're beautiful, really. Yeah, that's a turkey vulture, yeah. About a 5-foot wingspan. A lot of similarities. Vultures are interesting. I've read a couple books on them. I liked them since I was young anyway. I love how they soar around. Getting a little rain here. Yeah, there's nothing negative they do for an environment. They have 2 kinds of bacteria in their stomach that just disintegrates everything. And the reason their faces are like that is because their heads are designed to go into animal carcasses. And over the years, the feathers never evolved to keep that face clean. Actually, on their feet and on their face is a ton of bacteria that's really not good for humans, that kills germs as they're scavenging around for food. Just be kicking it. Yeah, huge wing. Yeah, huge wingspan, yep. They're smart birds too. You watch, they don't really they don't head out unless you get an exceptionally warm day with updrafts. They're great soarers. Those 4 feathers on the end are what help them turn. And they'll just hang around until you get updrafts, so they can go out and soar. It's a lot of energy for one of those to take off. They're geniuses too on where to land. You'll notice they never land in a spot where you're going to corner them. and they land according to the wind. You're not going to trap them being on the ground against 50-foot tall trees. They won't land there. And they say that they'll spend 6 weeks scouting an area before they lay eggs, just to make sure nothing's going in there. Daisy, you're a southern dog now, hon. They don't bite even to protect themselves, but they can crunch down about 1,200 psi, which is harder than a pit bull bite. Can you hear that rain? Yeah, Daisy's on the southern porch. I gave her a haircut yesterday. Trimmed her nails too. Hey Squirrely, yeah, I like the rain too. We get some monster rainstorms down here. I'm not kidding you. All summer long, it's great. Get them in the winter too. Yeah, I gave her a trim, yeah. She's weighed the same like for years, 23 pounds. You think these rainstorms would wipe these bees out as they're coming back from getting food, but it doesn't seem to. I mean, it's got to knock them to the ground and then they get back up and come back to the hive. I mean, a big-ass raindrop on a little bee like that. I think they land and wait until it quits raining. Because you see now, you don't see any of them dive bombing into the hive. I think that rain starts and they've evolved to like wait up in a tree until it quits raining, because usually they're coming in and out of there like crazy, and they're not now. A lot cooler today. There's not as many of them outside. Yeah, it's weird with pets, isn't it? I can remember when I was younger, you could get cats or dogs anywhere you wanted to. Now try and get a little dog like Daisy, like at a shelter. It's almost impossible. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I dug out some stumps with that excavator a couple nights ago. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, that should be easy to find. I mean, I was on the board of the Humane Society, and giving away older cats was a nightmare. We get stuck with like tons of them. Just be kicking it in the rain. It's got to be stressful as hell being a builder down here. You know, you're always like wondering if the customer's getting pissed that you haven't poured the slab. Like here we're, probably 2 or 3 weeks behind. And like when you're scheduled like for a slab pour, I mean, what the hell do they do? Does everybody take the day off when it rains? I mean, you can't really predict the rain down here in the summer. I mean, you can, but it isn't that accurate. You know, you get rain when you're not supposed to and vice versa. If you look on a map of Georgia right now, you'll see these rain pockets all over the state. I'm sure it's lightning and thunder right now somewhere. Then it goes away and the sun comes out. It's like that all summer long. Yeah, I think so too, you know. But, you know, I don't really care about it. I know what the deal is. Then you're always stressed out about, you know, when you're going to get the roof on, you know, getting stuff wet. Yeah, just sit out here and drink dragon's milk. Oh, no kidding, Brian. They still spray, huh? Huh. Yeah, I'm not really a cat guy. I'm going to put a huge indoor bee colony and a huge indoor red ant farm. Like you can lay in bed and see the ants and they're doing their thing. Like big glass, like a big huge glass terrarium, only ants. That fish and pork was good, tasted good. Just be kicking it and barbecuing. I probably will get a better smoker. Marty wants to build a nice one, like commercial smoker. It does make it a little easier. Not a lot though. Less babysitting, better heat regulation. I'm telling you, man, this grilling and smoking is easier than hell. They act on these TV shows. It's popular too. It's part of the reason why brisket's so expensive now. Because YouTube. People, you know, like brisket. They want to cook it, learn how to cook it, blah, blah, blah. There's some places like, you know, probably everywhere, but it seems to me more bored down south in Texas. Just guys, if you've been cooking brisket for like ever, you don't need a bunch of this shit. Digital thermometers, and these fuckers can look at a piece of brisket and see if it's done or not. You know, no thermometers, just there's guys that make smokers out of refrigerators and stuff. Yeah, still raining, yep. Still light rain. I mean, you'd be surprised what you can get away with. Yeah, beautiful, nice rain. Daisy just be kicking it. Rebecca babysat Daisy one time. Yeah, it rains a lot down here. You know, you'll notice this if you smoke and grill, you know, empirical observation. It works with anything. Just by virtue of being around something, you learn things just by doing it so much. And like today, even though it's humid, that that wood was burning up left and right. I mean, way quicker than normally. We have a John Deere tractor and a Bobcat mower. Are you looking for a mower or a tractor? I bet you Bobcat doesn't really make those. I bet somebody makes them for them. I'll tell you who has a nice mower. I bet it's the same company that's making these Bobcat mowers. Is Ace Hardware. It's got most the same components the Bobcat has. Actually, they've done some tweaks on the design, which I think are better. If you're talking about the Bobcat mower, love it. Excellent. Yeah, that's if you're bending the baffle, you probably got the mowing deck too low. I mean, I've banged baffles too and knocked them off before and had to get them welded. That's not uncommon. It's not because you're doing something wrong. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though. I'll have to look at ours. I don't know if it sits lower than the blades or not. Yeah, if you look at mowing decks, you know, the whole theory behind baffles is the way the grass flies up and the way it's sucked up into the mowing deck. I'll tell you what I did the other day, talking about fucking up. You know, I got back from Michigan. I didn't really seem tired, but I guess I was. So somehow it was with the house, was this fucking 9-mile long red hose. I mean, you could water a town next door. It's a pain in the ass. So somebody had taken the fucking thing and threw it under the tarp, under the carport type thing where the mower's kept. And it's heavy. I mean, it's a big 1-inch heavy hose. And I cut the grass, was fucking around like the grass was tall on the gravel, so I put it in the stow position like I was driving it somewhere, not cutting. And then I turned the blades on because before I spray the weed killer on the driveway, I like to get it shorter. I don't like spraying on weeds 2 feet tall, which some of them were because I was gone so long. And, you know, I'm cutting around and, you know, I'm usually, as soon as I'm done mowing, I turn those blades off. But I was like this is how all accidents happen. I kind of got out of my routine and I was coming back to the carport to put the mower away and I saw that hose there. But mind you, I had the deck in the stow position. It was real high, like probably 7 inches high. So I throttled back and I thought I'll just as I was starting to come into the carport, I turned the blades off. And they must spin for a while, which seems crazy. And I turned the blades off and I kept going forward and all of a sudden you hear this big fucking noise. It sucked that fucking heavy hose up and wrapped around the fucking shaft, cut the hose, not all the way, fucked up the goddamn thing on the end. I thought, you lazy son of a bitch. I knew when I saw it I probably should have got out and moved it. But, you know, those blades were 6 or 7 inches above a heavy hose. And I thought would be almost stopped. You know, stupid. That's what you get for being lazy. Those blades, you know, I learned something, man. I'm never going, you know, don't go anywhere if those blades aren't turning. I would have given you 10-to-1 odds that couldn't have happened. So I pulled the damn thing out of there. Matter of fact, there's the top of it right there. I'm going to get a hose repair kit right there. Just fucking stupid, man. It didn't hurt the mower at all. But I thought, God damn, you dumb son of a bitch. You could really fuck yourself up on this stuff. You know, I was using this mini excavator to dig some stumps out the other night. You know, I'm sure practically anybody that drives one of these excavators is better than me. You know, I'm kind of a hack at this stuff. I mean, I'm getting better. But in order to like use that piece of equipment effectively, you got to have some experience. You know, I kind of hack my way. And I'm always super careful on that thing that I don't mess some shit up. But I was digging some stumps out, and which that really isn't designed for, man. That ass end of that thing was like hanging up 3 or 4 feet in the air. I didn't really worry about it because I'm not tipping over. I've got that, you know, the boom extended. But man, that shows you how strong those tree roots are. Yeah, Z1000. Yeah, I think it is a Z1000. Yeah, I think it is. It's got 25 horsepower Kawasaki engine on it. That's the same one that Ace has on theirs. Yeah, we have a 72-inch deck. Oh, really? That's interesting. Huh, I'll have to take a, I'll take a look under there. But don't feel bad. I've fucked the baffles up before. But you know, I don't know how your mowing deck works, but you reach down on a handle, and there's a pedal you can step on in case you don't want to, like, if you're going over some tree roots or some shit. And we lost that fucking pin, and it took like 4 months to get the thing in. If I'd have known that, I'd have triple wired that thing. I bought 2 extra. They're like $80 each, and all this shit's a rip-off on the specialty stuff. But anyway, we lost that pin, and there was no way of setting the height on the mowing deck. So, you know, even though this is pretty level ground, there's spots where it's not. And I wasn't going to wait 6 months to cut the grass, and the brush hog doesn't do a good cut on a finish cut. So I kept cutting the grass, and that mowing deck was like as low as it could go. It was right on the wheels, and I fucked those baffles up twice because of that. 2 of them broke off. I had to have them welded on again, but it was either that or not cut the grass. And it wasn't that expensive. But I'm sure the deck isn't as strong as it would have been had I not done that. But I really like it. The more I look around, I think there's better designs. Go look. I don't know if you've got Ace Hardwares near you, but look at the big one they sell. That's a nice mower. Like on this Bobcat, you know how they put that slippery stuff on the deck so you don't break your ass? That's all stuck on there like you do in the 60s. You know, I blew all ours off pressure washing it. It's either that or, you know, get out a bucket and a mop and do it. So I'm not doing that. I'm trying to get it off there as quick as I can. And I notice on these newer designs, like, you can unsnap all that stuff that you stand on so you don't fall. And you can pressure wash and then put them back on. That's how it ought to be. No, make sure you wire that thing in. No, put an extra wire on that thing. Drill a small hole at the top. Take it to a machine shop. You have to. Ours was on back order for 6 months. And just have like double wire. Ours is wired in anyway, but somehow it came off. But don't lose that pin. And you know, where I use that mower is all like finish cut lawn. I thought, well, I'll find that pin. Yeah, well, I never did. I still haven't found it. I don't know where the hell it is. Only thing I can think is that, you know, somewhere I was driving it on the road or something, fucking around, and it fell off there and someone found it, because I should have found that by now and I didn't. But I've got 2 extras. Yeah, make sure, drill another micro hole on the top. It's hard to do at home if you don't have the right equipment. Just go in and pay a machine shop to drill a hole and double wire that thing. But that excavator, we sold the skidster. You know, the value really dropped on those. We had John Deere's biggest skidster. Bought it at an auction for 70 grand. Had it about 4 months and sold it for 90. But the market's dropped out on those. There were like repossessions of about 100 of them. And they're actually selling for like 40 grand at auctions now. We're going to buy another one. But that's something you can fuck yourself up on. Easy, kill yourself. Skidsters. Guys killing themselves on those all over the place all year long. And I drove that like a baby too. Look at that actor that was driving that snowplow, fucked himself up. That Jeremy, whatever his name is. I mean, this equipment, it's easy. There's days when I'm tired and I want to go out and fuck around on this stuff, and I promise myself not to. I don't want to fucking cut my arm off or something, which you could do. And they've got these fold down pedals on that excavator, which to me are confusing. If you just use the top of the pedal, it's just like using the levers driving a tank, which makes sense. But if you have it unfolded, I don't know why some people do this, and the pedals are folded down so it's open for, you could put your whole foot on it. If you put pressure with your heel, that thing will go the opposite way you'd expect it to be. And then, like, you know, all of a sudden you're driving around this thing, it's like it got possessed and it's driving where it wants, and you're thinking, I almost fucked up the bridge when I first started doing it. And from now on, I just make sure those pedals aren't down. because it's all of a sudden this thing's swinging to the left. I'm pushing the pedal and it's even swinging more to the left. It's because my heel was putting pressure on it. Oh, comment too long? Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I'm not too worried about this excavator thing other than electrocuting yourself, by having the boom up, bucket up. And you can't bring that bucket back and kill yourself. You can kill yourself with the skid steer though, dumping stuff on the top, having it come through the top glass window and crush you. Most people roll them over, or they disable the safety and they get out and the bucket crushes them. Or they stick their arm out and the safety mechanism doesn't work. And now I'll get out of this thing running right here because there's not too much you can do. The excavator, but not that skid steer. After reading all those articles and seeing all those guys with tons of experience kill themselves. A lot of people drown themselves in them too. They'll be near a soft bank and that thing will roll over backwards. And when I was in Michigan, 2 guys got killed. And since I've lived down here, 3 guys got killed. Brian, you can still kill yourself with that mower. I mean, it looks small, which it is compared to a legit piece of equipment. But that rolls over on you, at our age. I mean, 1,000 pounds is 1,000 pounds. I mean, can you bench press 1,000 pounds? Yeah, and I'm very careful about that too. You've probably got the safety bar in back, that sticks up about 4 feet. Make sure that is extended. I see guys driving them all the time and they don't have it up. It's like, hey, it's not my business, but you need to have this thing up. Save your damn life. When it rolls over, it gives you a shot at getting the fuck out of there without getting crushed. The bad thing about it is, you can fuck a lot of stuff up. When you're driving a mower, you're looking in front of you. And you're going around, you're cutting, circles and shit like that. You're not used to looking in back of you. And you can fuck up satellite and dishes and all sorts of other shit all day long. Because that top, is tall. And you're turning and you're around something, it will wreck stuff. I mean, really take it out. Yeah, it's the one with the tracks on it and they got a bucket on the front. It's like a Bobcat. Yeah, I mean, they do crazy work. I mean, they're so damn powerful. It's amazing, the dirt you can move and stuff. Where you really appreciate is when, when I was using this excavator the other day. I mean, even though it's a small one, they're still like 80 grand or something like that. You go out there with a shovel, you'll be fucking around all day, hand digging a hole for a tree. That thing, man, takes about 5 seconds. Just dig one big giant scoop. Then you got to move the dirt when you're doing it by hand. I just take one big scoop, turn it around, go dump the dirt a couple 100 yards away someplace else, come back and plant the tree. It's so easy, it's crazy. No, good idea, smart move, Brian. That's what gets you the banks. Banks. And you think when you're doing it, it's like you don't want it to look like shit, so that's why you do it. And then you get more and more, and you can get away with it 20 times, and then all of a sudden one day it rolls over on you. Most guys get taken out when it rolls on its side. Go on YouTube. There's all sorts of people doing it. I see people doing shit like that. I tell them, man, you're going to get mad at me and not my business, but you're going to hurt yourself on that thing. They just, you never think it's going to happen to you. I know better. Like what I just did with the hose the other night. I've done enough stupid shit. I fucked up the bottom of the skid steer. I'm out like a tree fell down. And we had this big wood cutter on the end. Like $10,000 attachment. It wasn't worth a fuck, to be honest with you. You'd think after you had like an expensive skid steer and a $10,000 tree cutting attachment, you'd just be going around cutting down forests, no problem. I thought it was a piece of junk. You'd have to keep ramming it into the tree, and then it goes down to nothing. Then you back up and ram it into the tree. You'd probably need 5,000 horsepower to keep the blade turning like a sawmill. But it was a pain in the ass. It took you forever to cut down a tree with that thing. But anyway, a tree fell back there, and I was taking it apart. And when sawdust is coming off, it's got sap in it. It's almost like syrup. And it was flying. They tell you not to raise. Another thing, doing stupid shit again. Never raise the cutter higher than below the frame of the skid steer. Well, that sounds great, but when you're trying to get something done, if you don't do that, you're not cutting down the whole tree. I didn't want to like 80% cut it down. I wanted to all percent. So I figured, well, I'll be careful. So sure enough, I'm cutting, and before you know it, after about 10 minutes, that spray of that sticky sawdust was on the window, and you couldn't really see that great. And I was cutting, and going fine, and I'm inching forward as I'm cutting into this big-ass tree that I'm moving. And I'm watching, and the window's all like gummed up with this tree sap and sawdust stuck to the window. And it's down near my feet, where you can see through the floor, like, just so you can see better. And all of a sudden I'm looking at it was the very bottom of the door. You're going through the front of the skid steer. And all of a sudden I see like daylight. It's like, what the fuck is that? And I go a little far, rather than stop, I go a little farther forward. What it was is about a 2-inch diameter tree limb that was facing me, straight towards me, the direction I was going. And it was right below the glass door. You know what it was doing? It was bending the door frame below where it shut. So then I looked down, I realized what I did. It bent that fucking piece below the door about 2 inches in. It's like $1,000 for it. We didn't fix it. We sold it as is, and the new owner didn't mind. But he will after he does it for a while, because after that the sawdust was coming through the bottom. But it just shows you the shit that can happen. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, let it grow. Good idea. Hey, Mary. I mean, there's so many ways to hurt yourself on construction equipment. But drowning and crushing yourself are the big ones. And with the skid steer, crushing yourself with the bucket. I do want to get a front end loader, a good one, a big one, just to have fun with, honestly. I could, even like this equipment, like this thing I'm using, it takes forever to do something. I mean, it's not like legit, like heavy duty construction equipment. Okay. But it's still like way better than like doing stuff by hand. Hey, Debbie and Dave. Yeah, they were blowing good. I got a bunch of those videos I'm uploading. I got like shit tons of video that I'm uploading. The reason I'm not, if I could have waved a wand and uploaded them all at once, I would have. But what happens is, even though I got a smoking fast connection, if I'm processing a video, rendering it, like one of those 5-hour videos, and I'm uploading too, it takes a while to upload. It's because of my computer, not because of my speed. So what I'm doing is either I'm doing one or the other. I'm not trying to do both, takes too long. But I got a 5-hour Nyan Quing right now that I'm processing. It's about a third of the way through. Debbie and Dave, I hope you guys come visit in about 6 months. Come down here and I'll cook you a barbecue. Yeah, it's raining now. Not much, though. There's some lightning. We got a metal roof, so when it lightnings, I get the fuck out of here and go inside, but I'd like to stay out here. But I don't want to get electrocuted. I'll tell you, man, I read a lot about that, too. There's an expert at the University of Florida in lightning. Cape Canaveral's the #1 lightning-struck place in the world. So he's at a good place. He's not far from there to research it. Lightning's got a lot of mysteries to it. And I've noticed in the short year that I've lived down here, I mean, everybody knows, don't go under a tall thing, all this bullshit, stay away from metal. But let me tell you, I've seen it strike 3 times down here that made absolutely no sense. All short, low, out of the way, not tall things that the lightning just obliterated. Yeah, good idea, Brian. They don't really understand it. I mean, there's a lot to it. I don't really either. I mean, they don't really know, but it is. Yeah, that whole area, Titusville, lightning capital of the world. I've been close. I was out in Big Bend National Park. I hitchhiked there in '75, and it's that I had a bolt strike about my ears rang for a week, and it caught on fire about 10 feet from my tent, and it scared me, and I like ran out of my tent. I had one of those tents, that have like double roofs so the condensation doesn't get inside. And that bar, the top one that bows over that you hook the one beneath it to, man, I scratched my back from about my neck all the way down to my waist, deep too. That was one time. I was in Florida one time, about 15 feet away from me, struck. And I had it strike me, get close, maybe 50 yards from me down here one time, big bolt of lightning. Yeah, we get crazy lightning down here. I mean, when lightning comes through here, it's like you can hear it like whacking trees. I mean, like it's not uncommon to like hear it like hit trees like, within a mile of here. And it's weird too. It's like I had a lady in Florida too, a neighbor of mine. Her horse got struck by lightning and killed. But most of the time, you'll be eating baby sauce. It just goes through and like heats up all your nerve endings and stuff. Be wearing a damn diaper. You hear that, Bob White? Used to strike the Sears Tower all the time too when I was living in Chicago. But they were counting on it. It's all set up for that. Boy, Chicago's turned to shit. What a dump. That whole shopping district's glass and all those expensive neighborhoods. People are afraid to live there anymore. That's my Daisy girl. Perfect temperature now. I think it's like 79. Just a warm, like, breeze. Yeah, they look healthy. That's because they're brand new. Everything down here, like, grows like crazy. These pecan trees are fantastic. These are the most coolest trees I think I've ever seen overall. That branch that comes out of that one over there. Marty wanted to cut them down. It's like, nah, don't do it, man. These are super unique. These are really super old pecan trees. Hummingbirds sit up there a lot. But these ones, like you see right here, that one far, that's probably 50 feet long. It's like the size of a whole tree growing straight up, only it's sideways. It's so cool. This one too. These are like great trees. There's 3 of them actually. I'm sure they were planted. You know, the sad thing about this is there's not a lot of history. I talked to a guy that lived here 80 years ago, but even he didn't know too much about these houses and stuff. Yeah, I saw that. No, just like driving a motorcycle, I agree. There were lawsuits, I guess, over the safety of that thing. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. Honestly, my opinion on it, and I would, if I was being held accountable for my answer, I'd probably research it more. But for some reason, I don't know. I just got a little bad vibe on going down and like looking at these things where people died. You know, if that would have been an empty ship or full of coal or something and it was abandoned and broke loose and floated out there and sunk, no one would give a shit. You're just like, what's the difference between that and just going to like where people got in car accidents and like 10 people got killed at the same time and just like sitting around there and unpacking your lunch and your checkered tablecloth and opening wine and cheese. Me just inviting Debbie and Dave down saying, look at this is right where 10 people got killed in a car accident. Isn't this interesting? Over there is part of the bumper. It's like, oh yeah, Debbie, hey Dave, can you video this with a GoPro? I just think it's a little weird. Now, I'm not saying they deserve to die because they went down there and looked at it, but it's just a little odd. Yeah, what a way to go. And you know how all that bullshit. It's like when a tornado comes through, they say that there's 100 missing. Well, I guarantee you they all just didn't decide to run away that day. You know, they're probably, fuck, who knows? Oh, here's the hummingbirds. They fight all the time. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird, man. I just, you know, I think it's a little weird. That going to space, I mean, I like flying and stuff like that. But that going to space and like going down in those submarines, forget that shit. I went in one in the Caribbean one time, part of a cruise excursion. And that thing only went down like, I don't know, 50, 100 feet. I mean, it was gorgeous, beautiful, and there was like 25 people on it. And I can remember thinking, man, if one of these windows broke or something, we'd be so fucked. I mean, you can imagine the water just gushing in. You know, you got about 5 minutes for your toast. I'll tell you some more crazy videos. These crazy people that go way down and dive in these caves underwater. It's weird. You couldn't get me to dive in a cave underwater. It's all dark. They got flashlights. For what? Oh, I was talking about like, you know, just people visiting like these grave sites and stuff. Weird shit. You know, where a bunch of people died. I just think going into the Titanic, going down there and looking. I bet that thing collapsed like a grape. You know what's crazy is like you get this super expensive. I don't know what that thing cost. You know it's crazy though, some crazy dollar amount. And then they go down even farther than that thing would go, and there's all these like cool looking fish and stuff living down there, like flesh and tissue and no eyes and like blinking tail light and all this crazy shit. You just wonder like the origin of these things and why and how they live under that pressure. And it's something living. Crazy. And here that at that depth it just took this big thick pressurized metal sub and crushed it like a grape. As I've gotten older, I mean, I used to take every helicopter ride I could find. I'd fly with anybody. Not anymore. Although I did take a helicopter ride at the helicopter convention in Atlanta. But I wouldn't have done it if it was a piston Robinson. I didn't mind a turbine Robinson. But I'm never getting a Piston Robinson helicopter, no way. Their safety record sucks. Yeah, it's funny you should say that, Brian, because I was thinking the other day, it's like, I've thought of this before. Like, so I get this new house built, and I'll get my condo sold, and then just, I'm thinking about just cutting myself off from society, saying fuck it to YouTube and everything. Just like live my last years, just like sitting on a chair like this, not watching the news. Daisy used to like be jittery and have lightning and thunder, but she's really gotten a lot better about it. She'd be like shaking. It doesn't seem to bother her too much anymore. No, I don't blame you for doing it. You know, driving, shit, yeah. Hummingbirds. You look at that prison system too, man. I'm sure those things are going to be building additions to those. World's getting crazier and crazier. I noticed Ann Arbor, Michigan's going to hell. Shootings, murders, weird shit. I see a thing in the news today where they don't want cops pulling people over for traffic stops like they used to hopefully eliminate racial profiling. That sounds like something that crazy ass place would do. That the cops are just driving around for the fuck of it, pulling over black people because they don't like them, I think is absolute bullshit nonsense. I mean, I don't know this for sure. Hey, Rita. I don't know this for sure, but like, you're not pulling over people to eliminate profiling by your own fucking police department. That's the same town that, in order not to in order to curb the deer population, they didn't shoot them like they do most places. They paid for this company to come in, tranquilize them, and give them hysterectomies. I mean, there are worse things, but I had a buddy of mine run an FBO, a fixed-based operator. You know, where you get your plane work done, you buy gas. Now, he didn't, he was a cheap son of a bitch, and he didn't do many upgrades, but he paid his rent, and people liked him. Look it up. It's the Aviation Center in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And those motherfuckers, you know, the lease was coming up for like a 40-year lease or something like that, and they just gave it to an out-of-town place. And I'm sure, and just told him, fuck you. We've went with a company that'll fit our community better, which I'm sure has something to do with transgender or gay shit or fucking one-legged pilots or something, but that's how they operate there. And he's out of business. I mean, he didn't really, I mean, he's doing fine financially, but what a shitty thing to do someone that paid their rent all those years. And I guarantee it's some fucking crazy, insane liberal twist, whether they promise to fucking hire hermaphrodites to work on the planes or something. I'm serious, they're like that there. And they'll fuck a normal person just to promote their ideology. Yeah, I wrote him as nasty a comment as I could. If you look in the comments, they probably erased it by now. What a shitty thing to do. But down here, this is still like the old days. It really is. Temperature, it's cool here, like 78, 79. Yeah, I didn't see that one, Mary. Good job. Wonder why I didn't see that comment, Mary. It just showed me it was good job there. Good job. Hey, all you stalkers can get fucked. I dare you to come down here. Fucking pussies. You would never have enough balls to come down here. Same with West Branch. Mary, how did you block that comment? Nobody saw it. Hear that cardinal singing? Hear that buzzing? That's hummingbirds. Just be kicking it. It's crazy how they invented this stuff, though. Like these construction equipment, it's all man-made stuff. It's just nuts, man. Make all the metal computers in it. Let's do all this heavy work. It's a Daisy. She's a southern dog now. Yeah, not yet. She doesn't hardly bark here too much. You could have, though. Daisy? Daisy, what are you doing, hon? You got a southern drawl? Huh? Do you have a southern drawl, Daisy? You good girl? You want to go inside? He hates these flies. You want to go inside? Go, Betty? You want to go inside? Want to go inside? Flies are getting on her nerves. You stay there. Yeah, he's a good dog. She doesn't really hang around me too much. I put 15,000 miles on that truck since I've got it March 6th. That was a great drive I had home. I'll just be kicking it, know what I'm saying? Yeah, isn't that nuts? I'd just be kicking it. Yeah, I got better videos of that. I got some long videos. No, I mean nobody watches them, but that's all right. I'm right back to where I was when I started with YouTube. I am gonna do some interviews and stuff. I just haven't got around to it yet. But anything that I upload, I mean, I look at it and I think to myself, oh, "This is cool, man. I like this. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube." I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot of trouble to me because I like it. You know, it's just all fucking around. Everything I upload, I like. Even a crabapple tree. You think, why in God's name would you upload an hour and a half video of a crabapple tree? It's just so damn beautiful. And it was only blooming like that for about a week. It's like, yeah, I know the tree's not moving, you know, I don't expect it to like do anything, but just like watch it. Same with that Nyangquing, which is a very unique place. The birds down there are just killer. Oh, really? Oh, no kidding. I think that's all we've used is 87 octane. I think that's all we've used. Yeah, let me go back there and look on that thing. I'm going to look underneath that baffle too. I'll leave this here because I'll lose my connection. Yeah, ours doesn't say that. It says just use unleaded fuel only, and you can only use 10% ethanol. It also's got a thing that it's approved for E85. Doesn't say anything about that. No, it doesn't last that long. That's true. These are great trees. I was gonna move these bees stung people that came over here. They were swatting at them now. It's hard not to swat at a bee if you don't like them. But I told Marty I'd move it. He doesn't want to move it. Yeah, you're right. Surprised I haven't seen the vultures today. Oh yeah, there's honey in there. I guarantee there is, yeah. And a lot of babies. Yep. I mean, really it's hard. I still don't think that bees produce excess honey. That's just some lies that beekeepers told. Yeah, I guarantee there's honey in there. I don't really like honey that much, to tell you the truth. I mean, we just got it to enjoy, how they work and stuff like that. That's a ware hive, W-A-R-R-E. They draw their own comb however they feel like it. I mean, it's still vertical, but it isn't like in foundation in a perfect rectangle like a Langstroth hive. That's like kind of a nature nut hive. I mean, it's still a box, and they still wouldn't go in there probably on their own, but it's better. It's a move in the right direction. Bees are fun to fool around with. I mean, I like queen rearing, and splitting hives, and all that shit that I'll eventually do. I don't really give a shit about the pollination of the honey. I just like watching them fly around. It's interesting to me. I mean, humans are a bunch of fuck-offs compared to insects, including red ants. Man, the amount of work they get done. Shit. And these honeybees, even in the summertime, they're only living about 40 days, and it's tits up. Just a dynamic, constant, living organism. I mean, we feed them and stuff extra. Saves them a lot of flying. But drawing comb and producing honey is like a lot of work and a lot of flying. I guess the honeybees do better than the carpenter bees that we trap and kill, because they drill holes in the house. They fly into that hole up there. They drop down into the jar. No, they won't. Nope, they'll go into hibernation. They live longer in the winter, believe it or not. Gets them through to the next spring. No, they live longer. They live through the winter. Isn't that crazy how their lifespan? Nope. They'll go with a set population as it gets cool and make it through the winter and start it all over again. It's nuts. Super fascinating. See, they're fanning right now. See, they're blowing that hot air out. See, with their butt up in the air fanning. All the bees die in the winter besides the queen with bumblebees, not honeybees. See, these bees are doing double duty, guard bees too. They're hanging out at the entrance. Boy, they will attack your ass. You go up there and smack on the side of that hive, there'd be 1,000 of them stinging you. Yeah, it wears their wings out. Usually their wings get worn out by running into things and banging them against hard surfaces. These guys are cleaning right now, cleaning up the entrance. He's kicking it. Yes, it does. They die, yep. Bumblebees can sting you repeatedly. They live underground, you know. Yeah, I know. It doesn't happen too much, though. Cool, isn't it? You ought to start doing it, Brian. It's a fun hobby. Hey, Christine, how you doing? Yeah, stinger proof, yep. Actually, they don't even try to sting you. Once they land on you, they realize that this is bullshit. They're not blowing their stinger on something that's not gonna do some damage. No, they don't. They don't try and sting the suit. They land on it. They want to, and then they land on it and think, "Nah, I don't think so." Oh yeah, how you doing today, Christine? Up here, video on the birds and the bees. Good. I don't know. I thought for sure I'd see a vultures by now. Oh, there's one right there. One just flew over. Yeah, right on. That's a good rhyme. I think she ought to have that published. You got to write with words. Hey Larry, how you doing? We're giving a lesson on the birds and the bees. I didn't know you were a poet, Brian. How's your weather down there today, Rita? Yeah, she's around there. Yeah, I don't speak to her, but I know she's around. At least as a couple days ago. No, I don't talk to her. Oh, that's cool, Brian. You're a rhymer. Maybe you could have been a rapper. Oh, I know she is, yep. Hey, Tribbles. Yeah, it's not. It's a little warmer here. Can you hear that thunder in the distance? Good, I'm doing fine. Just partying. You cannot what, Troubles? Oh, you cannot hear? Oh, okay. Hey, Weebies, how you doing? I thought this microphone was more sensitive. Just be kicking it. Yeah, it's peaceful here, sure is. You need to come down here and visit, get out of that Motor City. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's really nice, yeah. You ever been down here, Kristen? Is it Christine or Christine? Should be Christine, I would think, but I've known of it pronounced differently. Oh, did you? Yeah, Daisy is in a good mood. Oh, you're in Scotland. Oh, okay. We're going to have an annual Chosen One party. You ought to try to make it. Oh, good for you. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I think you'd like it down here. I think you'd enjoy it. I think I'm going to go move this excavator, put it away. I mean, I don't think lightning would strike it, but you never know. No, I didn't say it. That's none of your business, Alice. You need to mind your own business. And the secular's a douchebag. It's not your business. See you, Rita. You party on. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. That was Marty calling. No, it's not walkie bye-bye time. Get out of here, Alice, you dumb bitch. Stupid bitch. Fuck out of here. Let's kick it. Let's just kick it. Oh, I didn't know you were sick. Hey, Laurel. Well, I think I'm going to sign off for you guys. Take a shower. I hope that damn smoker's cooled down enough where I can clean it out, pressure wash it, get it ready for the next stuff I'm going to grill, cook. Just be kicking it, know what I'm saying? So I'll be on later. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Kristen, stalkers, too bad you can't comment. We got you blocked. Ha ha. Not doing anything. Brian, you have a good day. Rita, think she took off. Tribbles, hope you feel good. It's where the party never ends here. He's got a party on. Mary, if you're listening, thanks for shooting that stalker out of the water. Good job. Great job. Alice, you get lost, you dumb bag. Mind your own business. What goes on here is between the moderators and the regular attendees. You just shut up. Peace out. Rock on. Let's party.